Marmalade here. How's everybody doing? I hope well. Let's get started right away with Q&A number 37. All right, my first question is from Badder Than You. Love that. Can you tell me about what your average day looks like in regards to food and drink while on trail? So, yeah, I learned a lot about myself. I did a ton of, before my through hike attempt last year, I'd done almost 1,500 miles or more on weekend trips, and especially because I live in San Diego, I'm on the trail a lot, and I never was on the trail more than 6 days and 5 nights. So after I was on trail, I ended up being on trail for 2 months. So I learned a lot. I'd never eaten that long on trail to find out what I do and don't like, how much you eat. I never hiked long enough to get hiker hunger, which usually happens in the first couple hundred miles, depending on the person. But to answer your question, I learned a lot, and I found that I carried way too much food for me. That, some people say you carry for your fears. Some people carry too much clothing, afraid to get hypothermia or get cold. For me, it's food. And part of it is not really as much carrying too much food, is not eating enough. And the reason why is I found that when I'm really exerting myself and doing a long day, like a 20 miles, like a standard day on trail is 20 miles, and you're really exerting yourself, I lost my appetite. And if it's hot, I lose my appetite even more. So if you get both of those going, it's really hard. So I mentioned on my What's Next video I just did that I'm going to do the long trail in Vermont here in a few weeks, and I'm going to bring less food. I'm going to bring what I think is enough, but it's a waste of money, but also you're carrying all that weight and it's silly. You get to the town for the next resupply and half your food's still in the bag. So I'll get to the actual answer. So I've changed. The water always stays the same. One of the things you guys need to do when you're backpacking is learn that how much water do you drink per mile. I drink 1 liter for every 4 miles. That's on a standard day when it's not hot, not cold. When it's cold, I drink less, hot more. But that helps when you're at a water source and I don't know, the water's 8 miles from here. So I need 2 liters because I do, 4 miles per liter. So that's how I do water. The only thing I really add most of the time is as Mio, just for some flavoring. Sometimes I get the kind with caffeine in it, but I don't really notice the difference, just for some flavor. I love water on the trail, but it gets old after a while. And I also sometimes will get packets of Emergen-C, which gives me lots of vitamin C and kind of keeps me healthy. So that has flavor also. So that's what I drink if it has flavor. Food-wise, I started with, I'm just going to generalize because I eat a lot of different food on trail, but I did do the typical Pop-Tarts and oatmeal, and I was pretty much sick of it before I even started. So now I do granola, and like the granola I just had recently was dried granola. I get the Carnation Instant Breakfast. It's like a French vanilla flavor, and it's basically got all your essential vitamins supposedly in there, but it's also acts as powdered milk. So I put that whole sleeve of that in my granola, dried granola, and then so last time I put freeze-dried blueberries in there. And then in the morning, there's no cooking, no mess. I put it in a freezer course bag so it doesn't leak. I pour water in there, let it soak for about 5 or 10 minutes so it's soft, so it doesn't break a tooth, and I just eat it. And it's great fuel. Sometimes I eat it before I get going. Sometimes I hike a couple miles out of camp and then eat to give myself some energy later on. So that's for most breakfasts are kind of like that. And then I've become more of instead of a dedicated lunch, I like to be a snacker throughout the day. So that's what I do. So I'm sick of like Cliff Bars, but I like certain kinds of bars, nuts, dried fruit, things like that. Dinners are tough, and I'm actually looking online right now to try to find some other things to make. But there's the typical Knorr pasta sides that are super cheap, like $1. There's instant mashed potatoes, there's ramen, and then I add things like tuna fish or chicken. I'm now carrying a little thing of hot sauce to add some flavor to my food. I also, towards the end of my through, I started doing instant rice in a course freezer bag, and then I get some pepperoni, which doesn't technically have to be refrigerated. If you go in the store, it's sliced pepperonis. A lot of times just sitting on the shelf on the wall. It's not refrigerated. So I'll do that. Sometimes I'll add beef jerky, and then just boil some water, put it in instant rice, and have a meal like that and get some calories. And if I can find some butter, I'll put butter in there. So that's just a short answer, but I'm looking into doing different things for dinner. And then I try to, my one treat at the end of every day is a Snickers bar. So I try to have a Snickers bar every night. So that's a really short version of it. I sometimes carry instant coffee, but I cold soak it in my chest water bottle. So I just kind of drink that as I'm going in the morning, and so I don't have to waste the gas or the time to make it in the morning. I've had hot tea at night sometimes, so it just depends, but that's the answer. All right, my next question is from Chris Iserman. I've watched a lot of PCT JMT videos, and there's not much said about how to battle bugs. Like right now, I'm getting bit by a bug. I've heard about Sawyer products, and I'll tell you what he means by that. Mr. Bart, who is somebody I hike with, if you watch my through hike, he hiked probably 300 plus miles with me, was using bug pants in Oregon. Any hot tips? Thanks. So we're all different, right? So the bugs love me, unfortunately. So that kind of sucks, because I've hiked with people that they don't care about them and don't touch them. I'll tell you what I use. I'll put a picture right here. But it's Ben's 100% DEET. I've tried 20%, 30%, 40%, and it doesn't really work. You get 100% DEET, it's not good for you, I know, but I'll spray that on lightly and rub it in, and it works like a charm. I haven't ever had anything bite me when I've had it on. Other thing you can do is, it's hard to say, but it's Permethrin, and some of you guys know about it, some of you don't. Some clothes you can actually buy with Permethrin in the clothing, so you don't have to even put it on your clothing. And it lasts, some of they advertise like, 20 washings, 30 washings until it washes out but that'll actually make your clothing bug and mosquito free. So there's that kind of Permethrin, and then you can also buy a spray, and it's as simple as literally laying your clothes out. And I think I'm gonna do this before I do the long trail coming up, because the bugs are notorious, and the ticks. So you just take the spray and you would lay your clothes out and spray it, turn it over, spray it, and then it absorbs in your clothing, and that'll last maybe, I forget the number, and I'm going to misspeak, but it's probably like 6 to 10 washings, which on a 273 mile hike, I might wash my clothes 4 or 5 times, I don't know, once or twice a week. So I'll be fine on that long hike, and I'll see how it works. But so I would say either DEET, and the percentage, I use 100%, but use what you're comfortable with, or the spray Permethrin. So that's what I do. Oh, one more thing real quick. They make the mosquito head net. I use that. They make, I think what you're talking about, Mr. Bart, was they do make, it's kind of funky looking, but they make like the head net material to go long sleeve on your body, so a top and a bottom, and that helps. But for me personally, I just didn't want to deal with that, so I just try to use the spray when I need it, and that's how I handle it. All right, our next question is from Youngheart. Tell us about your headlamp, rechargeable or batteries? So I think I have the best headlamp, and I don't say that of everything, but I think it's the best one out there, and I see more of them than anything, and it's the Nitecore NU25. It tilts, has a very lightweight. It comes with a wider headband, but I got the thinner cord because it saves on weight. This thing is only 1.17 ounce, so barely over an ounce, and the thing's amazing. I'll tell you some of the things it does. I'm not going to go over every spec and every the lumen output and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to give you the general answer to this. It comes like this. It comes with a wide headband, like I said. It comes with a charge cord to charge it. It's rechargeable. I don't want to deal with the batteries. I don't want to carry extra batteries, all that. And the main benefit, and the reason why I like this, besides being super light, it has 3 settings of white and 3 settings of red, and red's very important. Also flashing, in case you wanted like a flashing red light for emergency. Obviously, if you go on the site, if you're interested in this, I went to lightsmith.com. I think it's like $41, $42 for this. And like I said, it weighs nothing. It's water resistant. And one of the main selling points for this is many rechargeable headlamps do not run while they're being charged. This one, you can have a long cord to one of your exterior battery packs. So let's say you're hiking at night, you're hiking all night, and your light goes out, it's done. You can actually plug this in to your battery and get a longer cord than this, and just and it'll be charging, but also run at the same time. That's huge, because you don't want to be in the middle of the night hiking somewhere and it goes off, and now you have got to sit somewhere and wait for it to charge up. So you can hike with it while it's charging. Like I said, it's got 3 lumen outputs, and obviously the brighter is, the shorter the lifespan is before it needs to be recharged again. That's all on their site, but you should check out their site. I bought a lot of stuff off lightsmith.com, and tape at a small amounts wrapped around a straw, and things like the ultralight backpackers would use. Instead of buying a whole roll of some kind of tape, you can just buy a regular amount that will go, and that's what I carry when I'm on my hikes. So yeah, it's the Nitecore NU25. Check it out. All right, our next question is from Antonia B. Do the front pockets on your ULA circuit come with the pack, or is it separate? So if you guys, I don't know if you watched it, but I did I've done over 2,000 miles with my ULA circuit, and I did a gear review and what I liked, and a couple things I thought should be changed on the pack. But it was overall a very positive review. But it's one of the few packs that comes with everything. So the hip belt pockets come with it. It's got a sleeve inside that's removable, which I remove, that holds your Camelback water sleeve if you're one of those people that use that, and the tube coming out. It's got a little, what I love is in there, and I've kept it in there, it's a little pocket hanging inside the big pouch, the big area of your pack. There's 2 clips, and it's a little place for your wallet and your money, so it's separate from everything on the outside, so you can't lose it. I put my keys in there so I don't lose it. And then it also comes with, which I've never seen on a pack, is 2 loop straps that are like attached to 2 rings on the front of your shoulder straps, and they're loops. So the theory is, if you don't use trekking poles, I don't know guys if you've done this, but I've done it many times, but when you don't use trekking poles and you're walking, you get sausage finger because your blood doesn't flow. It all goes down into your hands and your fingers swell up. So the premise is you have these 2 loops. If you don't use trekking poles, you can put your hands up here and keep them above your heart and hike. And you don't have to do it every second, but that's what they're for. So I detached the loops, I detached the Camelback thing, I kept the little wallet thing in there, and the big spacious pockets on the front of my pack are one of the big selling points for me. So yes, they do come with it. Many of the very high-end gear companies do it a la carte. So you're like, oh, this pack's only $250. Then you go, well, I want 2 hip belt pockets, I want this, I want that, I want that, and before you know it, it's like $500. So yeah, they include everything, and you take off what you don't want. All right, my last question for this Q&A is, how are you liking your Therm-A-Rest Neoair X Lite? So I do have actually a little bit of change in that, by the way, since I last got it. I did a review, and you guys won't remember this, but after I got back from my hike, I lightened my load with getting a lighter air mattress. Plus my 2 air mattresses I used on my through hike failed. So I got the Therm-A-Rest Neoair X Lite. It's that yellow crunchy sounding one. I got the standard length, 72 inches. I'm 6'3", so I'm 75 inches, so I don't care if my toes hang off. And I got the, unfortunately, narrower one, the 20-inch wide one, because I wanted to save weight. Well, I'm a side sleeper. Every time I flip over, that thing was popping out from under me, and I'm a bigger guy, so I was rolling off of it. So about 2.5 months ago, I ordered the same length, 72 inches, but I want 25 inches wide, so 5 inches wider. So I got the wider but standard length, and my other air mattress, the smaller one, was 12 ounces. This is 15, so for 3 ounces, I got a much wider pad. And the unfortunate thing about it was I went and paid full price for it, and then when I was going to get it at REI, I was going to return my old one, and I paid full price, $200-something, and they closed the doors 2 days later. So it was a special order coming from Therm-A-Rest, so months and months went by, they couldn't find it, and actually it showed up. So I just got it, and I'm going to use it pretty soon, but I'm looking forward to that. So so far I've really liked it. The weight savings like half of what my old air mash, and more than the weight too, is it folds up when I take the air out of it into almost nothing. So it uses up almost none of my pack. And I told you guys I'm going smaller and lighter, and I'm gonna eventually get a smaller pack and just get everything so that it's more enjoyable when I hike. And I carried, I mean, there's people with a lot more weight than me on my thru hike last year, but I had a lot of weight, and it makes a big difference when you're going up and down huge mountains. So thanks for the question, and I really like it so far. And I thought being a thinner pad than my old one, being a side sleeper, my hips would hit and get bruised and stuff, but it hasn't happened yet. So far, so good. All right, guys, that about does it for this week's Q&A. Thank you for those questions, really good ones. I hope you enjoyed it. A little disclaimer here. I don't know if you guys, some of you guys watch all my videos, some of you don't, but I just did one called Channel Update What's Next. So if you haven't watched it, check it out. It's kind of laying out what I think I'm going to do for hikes this year. I am going to not do any more Q&As right now because today is Tuesday the 12th, and in about 10 days or so, or a little more, I'm going to be going back east to go do the long trail in Vermont. And so next week will be kind of tight. I'm going to be getting ready. I don't want to have to worry about doing a Q&A. So they'll stop temporarily, but I thank you guys. And don't forget to look down below at the links for my Patreon page and my merchandise site if you'd like to support my channel and my hikes. You guys have been really great. I've been getting more and more lately. So you can do as low as $1 a month. So check it out if you want. And anyway, that's about it for this time. And until next time, we'll see you down the trail.